And let's get started. Looks like good news for all the programming on Fox, including the big game Saturday between Ohio State and Texas. If you have YouTube TV, they came to an agreement late yesterday. It's a short-term agreement. They're hoping to work things out, and so are we. So get ready for Ohio State, Texas. If you have YouTube TV, you will be able to watch the game on Saturday at noon on Fox as scheduled, as well as it looks like the NFL games coming up next weekend. Meanwhile, Matt Ishbia is facing a lawsuit from his minority owners of the Phoenix Suns. The names are Andy Kohlberg and Scott Sedlin, holdovers from the previous ownership under Robert Sarver. They filed a lawsuit against Ishbia saying that he denied them access to important legal records, violating their rights as minority stakeholders. The owners are concerned about a lack of transparency around the team's spending and capital raises, including a $100 million funding for a practice facility or for the Phoenix Mercury. In the National Football League, we've got 1 week to go until the opener. And of course, it'll start all in Philadelphia, the NFC East taking center stage, Cowboys and Eagles. Terry McLaurin is back at practice for the Washington Commanders. He signed his contract extension. It was not the easiest process, but McLaurin said he's happy it got done.
I did. It was a long process, and there's no playbook or script on how to handle this situation. And so, you start out one way and then you hope that it ends the way it's ended. And so I'm thankful for this process to just be able to be back on the field, and just the conversations that, Buddy and AP had, and myself and AP, and me and DQ. So it's definitely been a process, but I'm really happy to be back out here with my teammates, and just very thankful to be a part of this organization and a part of this fan base that's supported me through all of this. So it's exciting.
For the first time before his July 4th fireworks incident, there's good news. Najee Harris back on the practice field for the Los Angeles Chargers. Meanwhile, it all gets started the Bill Belichick era at North Carolina this weekend as well. Buckle up. Bill Belichick says Geo Lopez is his starting quarterback going into week one. Not a lot divulged, as you can imagine, by Belichick until his meeting with the media yesterday. Also said they'll change the game plan each and every week based on who they play. Kind of bizarre.
Well, we don't really have a whole playbook. I mean, we do, but we don't, because we wouldn't do everything against everybody. We have certain things that we do against certain teams and the way they play, and maybe not so much on something else. So we would fine-tune that based on the game. But Gio's made a ton of progress. We've evaluated things through training camp, and as now we get ready for TCU, he'll be our starting quarterback. So we'll give him the majority of the reps in practice, and make sure that we get him, as much preparation as possible. But everybody needs to be ready to go. But I feel very comfortable with him and what he's doing. But he'll get better as we go forward, because we have a lot of practices in front of us and a lot of games in front of us, and we'll all learn a lot from those. So, I think he's ready, but I think he'll be, like everybody, more ready as we go forward.
Deion Sanders says if teams make the college football playoff, they should get a bonus in terms of money. Already NIL money going there. We'll see if that works. Alabama's defensive lineman Tim Keenan III is going to miss multiple games. He's a fifth-year senior, expected to be a first-day pick in the NFL draft in the future. We'll see if that still is the case. Okay, are you ready for tonight's college football games? Let me run down some of them to get you hyped and interested. We'll start off 5:30 p.m. Eastern. The first game of the day is going to be played in Tampa. Boise State takes on South Florida. The Broncos are 5.5-point favorites, and the total is 62.5. What does it mean? A lot of points expected to be scored, especially with the way South Florida played defense last year. 62.5, first game on the board. 6 o'clock Eastern. They'll kick off in New Jersey. Ohio takes on Rutgers. Scarlet Knights, 15.5-point favorites, total of 51.5. Later that evening, which is tonight, we've got Miami, Ohio taking on Wisconsin. We know that the Badgers are going to run the ball, so the total is 40.5, and they are favored by 17.5 points. And then the marquee game of the evening in the Power 5 is Nebraska taking on Cincinnati. Of course, Dylan Raiola at quarterback, back for Nebraska again. Total 51.5. That's a 9 p.m. kickoff. All the action covered for you tonight here on SportsGrid. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani picked up his first win officially of the Major League Baseball season because he went through 5 innings. He struck out 9. And he gets a win against the Cincinnati Reds. Reds get swept, falling back in the standings. Here's Dave Roberts on the effectiveness of Ohtani picking up the win.
Yeah, I think so. Just early on, getting his sea legs back and getting going, it takes a while. And so I thought tonight was one of those nights that, he was locked in and worked some things out and really got into a good rhythm.
He talked about being less predictable tonight. Was that something that he was conscious of coming out of his last start?
I think so, because I think if you look at his last start, there was some kind of a lot of predictable fastballs where I thought today he used his curveball really well. I thought Dalton did a nice job and just kind of using his entire pitch mix. And early on, he just couldn't kind of get the feel for that split. But, the sweeper, the fastball, the entire pitch mix got better as the game went on.
Mariners got Eugenio Suarez to try and make a difference offensively. He did last night, 3-run home run. Mariners beat the Padres 4-3. They win the series. Ryan Nelson, 6 strong innings to lead the Diamondbacks past the Brewers 3-2. And Rafael Devers went deep twice yesterday. The Giants beat the Cubs by a final score of 12-3. Hey, baseball's a long season. Panicking on the Mets? Maybe a little premature. They swept the Phillies. How about that? 6-0. The Phillies have lost 10 straight games now at Citi Field. And rookie Nolan McLean pitched yesterday. Look at this start. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs against that Phillies lineup. Worth a mention by his manager, Carlos Mendoza. Yankees hit 6 home runs to power past the Nationals 11-2. Yankees scored 9 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Also, the Red Sox keep pace with the Yankees. The Cedane Rafaela ends up hitting a 2-run home run in the 9th. And Boston beats Baltimore by a final of 3-2. And Addison Barger hit a 2-run double in the 8th. And yes, the East teams at the top keep winning 9-8. The Toronto Blue Jays end up beating the Minnesota Twins